is my own take on it. So I would normally perform this, but because we can't get an exact card, we'll just be going over the method and kind of be discussing performance ideas. Loosely, the idea is that a spectator thinks of a card, so you spread it through. They say, tell them when to stop, or just point a general section. They say here, and they think of one, and then they can be able to cut and shuffle the cards. They can do it, and then you search on through, and you ask one question, and then you reveal their card, whatever it is. And it can fool magicians. It can fool the heaviest or most cynical spectators. So let's go into the idea behind this. The idea is that for this type of estimation, you spread the cards like this, and they say stop, or they point to a section, whichever you choose, or whichever they want. Let's say here. And, you know, if you're familiar with estimation work, you gotta know that there has to be outs in case you miss, and you get a decent effect out of it, but always initial one, or the initial effect you're striving for, is hopefully stronger. They think of a card, and then you instantly define it without even any questions or work to it. So they touch a card, they point to this area, and just think of one. You can look away for a second, and then look where their eyes gaze and stop at, so you can get a pretty good idea of where their card is. So say they looked over here, then we know it will be in this section of this 5 cards. And that is important information to use, so you don't have to waste your time with the other ones. So you can actually make your estimation a little bit sharper. So let's say it was in this section right here amongst these cards right here. What I would do is I would go a card or two above, and then get a break above the estimated section where they saw it, and you have a pretty good idea that they saw it there. We do a cut, double undercut, just for ease, and we control the section to the top. So it's, let's say it's somewhere in here, I'll presume. Okay, and for the sake of argument, let's say it's the 7 diamonds. Okay, so they're thinking of the 7 diamonds. In this case, after you cut it off, you say, and you would look at them. This is a misdirection for you're going to be palming. You would look at them and say, you saw the card, and are you sure you can remember it? And then they confirm yes, and you're looking directly at them. You're just relaxing, and then looking directly at them as they ask the question. And then once they look up at you, no focus is on the cards. That's when we do the palm. But you have to be looking at the spectators you do this. So the inaction would look like this. As you control it to the top. And you would say casually, so I know you saw the card, but you remember what the card was, correct? And they confirm. And then I've casually palmed off the section of cards. Again, so I noticed you saw a card, or rather peeked a card. You can remember it correctly, yes? And they can confirm yes. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. And then you palmed off the section, whatever the section may be. I sometimes exaggerate, but let's just assume it's within this pile. Okay, so we palmed it off. Okay, and then they shuffle it on up. And you can do the gesture. It sounds so bold and crazy, but this gets by a lot of spectators. They never notice it. And you say, oh yeah, just you toss the other hand. That leaves this hand very natural. And you say, yeah, just give it a shuffle like this. And people get the gesture, what universal gesture, and no one ever thinks that you're palming a giant stack, which is quite hilarious, but it gets by in performance. I'll do an actual performance, assuming we have an estimate of the card, with some conditions, because it's hard to demonstrate without knowing the exact card specifically. So I palm it off, and then from here, Inspector shuffles it and hands it back to me. And say, good, good. And then if there's still some heat, they're thinking, how are you going to find it? You can say, oh, and you forgot a 180 cut. Or if you know a flourish, this would be the best time to use it. Oh, you forgot about the reverse 180 cut. Or don't forget about a triple one-hand cut, just to be safe. They laugh, they groan, whatever. That's all misdirection, because at the end of the cut, they're groaning and just they're thinking or show off, whatever. And then they look away for a brief second. It always happens. And during that point, you can casually top the deck. It looks like this, and then just casually come towards it. And then let it all square together. And you've added all the cards back. So again, they shuffled it. Okay, don't forget to do a 180 cut, because that's important, you know? Yeah! They relax, and then that's when you add the cards, and no one is the wiser. Okay, so the 7 diamonds I know is in this stack. If you also were able to look away or have misdirection to your side, or they turned away, you can actually briefly glimpse the bottom card, and this could help you be your key, so you can make it more impossible looking that you could find the card. So King of Spades would be in this case. Okay, as you top the deck, whatever method you decided upon to make it discreet, no one's the wiser. Then we look at the top card, which is Ace of Clubs. So King of Spades, Ace of Clubs, we know our card is in this section. In that case, King of Spades, Ace of Clubs, we can swing cut it. Now it looks like we're going to define the card directly from the center, rather than just going right off the top, and that looks like you're cheating somehow. And it could have been a palm. Spectators are not stupid, trust me. So we know the knowledge of King of Spades, Ace of Clubs, and we know nothing more than that. Okay? We're going right off the deep end. So I know it's, yeah. Here we go. So we got this, and we know this knowledge. So the King of Spades are here, Ace of Clubs are here. We know the card is somewhere in this section. And we want to try to eliminate some cards to get down to it. Okay? Okay. So here's what we do. Let's say we don't know it's a 7 diamonds. Okay, we have and this cards are towards us. For the sake of argument, I would not do this in actual performance, but I'm going to actually just narrow it down to make it easier for demonstration purposes. We have it right here, and we would ask the spectator, was your card a cherry-colored card? And this is the only question we ask. It could be one of two questions you can ask, but we go for this. So it was a cherry-colored card. It's a ruse to determine it. So we ask, is it a cherry-colored card? If they say yes, then we know it's one of these 3 cards. And in that case, we would take the 10, put it on bottom. We would take the 7, put it on top. So it would look like this. Take 10, put it on bottom. Take 7, put it on top. And then take the remaining 2, in this case, whatever you think the spectator would have taken, but we can use, in this case, all 3 to the best of our knowledge. We set up all 3, and then bam. Bam. And then we're all set to do the revelation. If they name the 2 of diamonds, you're here. If they name the 7 of diamonds, then you can do a double lift, and you're there. If they name the 10 of diamonds, then I can just do a little wave, a side steal. Show it as the wrong card. That would have been amazing, but it actually maybe is the card, because I give it a wave and it turns into that 10 of diamonds, and you would have to risk kill to make sure you don't flash that 2. In action, it looks like, whoops, sorry about that. In action, it would look like this, and there you go. So that's what it would look like in that case. So let's say in the other scenario, I'm going to go back to that same positioning. We were right here. This was right here. And the other was right here. Okay. So we are in the same positioning where we have the... Hold on one second. We got the Ace of Clubs, King of Spades, where we got the keys for our selection. We know it's somewhere in here. If it's a black card, you're going to have to do some fishing for this, and we could add some additional info. You could. I was told in mentalism you could be wrong twice, so maybe I'm understepping my boundaries by only asking 1 question, but you can always ask 2, but you can only get 2 no's. That's it. So we can ask if it's a cherry-colored card, and if it's a black card, then we say black cherry, and they smirk, and that's the ruse to be able to get the information. And then you can go off this knowledge. So you can say, was it a royal card by chance? If they say yes, then you can say it's a King of Spades right off the bat without even questioning it. You can say it down, you're good. You have to also know what the spectator is trying to choose. If they're trying to trick you, then they'll probably choose a very hard to discern card. So if you know any given knowledge on the spectator, it makes it easier. It's not like Eddie Fields' estimation, where it's just, I don't know how he hits it every time. It's crazy. 5 cards, all this stuff. But this one's more, I hate saying it, but it's more practical, even though it's much more reasonable sounding. Or less impossible. So we in the case of the 3 cards, cherry colored card, yes. Was it a high cherry colored card? And they go, yes, then you can know it's the 10 diamonds right off the bat. So play with it. I never asked the second question, but you can play with it and get further with it and nail that effect and blow some spectators or magicians' minds with it. Because from what it looks like, spectator just touches a card, they think of one, close it on up, they shuffle the cards, and then by only asking one question, you put one card down and then you nail their card, possibly. What more could you ask for? It's just so rudimentary and simple. So I promise I would do one quick performance of it, loose performance, and I'll point to which card they'd likely chose. Okay? Try to do my best for the performance. So I would say the spectator, okay, you can mix these up before we begin. They're mixed up to the best of your knowledge. Yes, they would agree. Okay, I'm going to go across the cards like this, and what I want you to do is just point to a pile or a section, and I'll say right here, you sure? Yep, okay. And I'm going to look away, and you guys just look at one. Let's say they looked at this one. Okay, I'm not sure what this card is. I really do not know. Okay, you got it? And I'm looking, and I identify it's in this section. Okay, and I'll cut the cards. I'm not sure what it is, but let's say for sake of argument, it is the Jack of... I don't know. Yeah, let's just do Jack of Spades. I know I'm probably wrong from the initial one I pointed at, but let's say it's Jack of Spades. Okay. All right. Do you shuffle cards at all, by chance? Oh, you do? Okay. And you remember your card, right? Yeah? Okay. Now give it a quick shuffle. They shuffle it on up, however they wish. And don't forget about the 180 cut or the triple one-hand cut with a twist. Because if you forget about this cut, that would make the whole trick entirely pointless, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's totally important. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut the cards, and I'm going to be able to discern what your card could be. Okay? I'm looking through here. Was it a cherry-colored card? No. Black cherry? Let's go for it. Let's see. I'm going to try this one out. And let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'll just go with this one. I'll go with this one. Okay. Name your card. And I actually would have, without even knowing, I actually would have chosen Jack of Spades. They named Jack of Spades. And in the case I did not know, and I really, in performance, do not know, I set it up where there's one of the choices on here, bottom, there's a choice on top, and I did a weird reverse that I might be able to go into. I did this reverse. It's like a Larry Jennings reverse. I'll credit him because I read it in one of his books. You go like this and just pull it on off, and then just square the pack on down, whatever, so you get a reverse. It's like his... the Larry verse. It has some very notable similarities to that. Anyways, so we got three outs, and then we got the Jack of Spades right there. So we are covered for all situations. And if you're wondering about the case of how to clean up with this 10 of clubs right here, you can just riffle from the back to it. Let me see. Riffle to the back, eventually hitting it. And then you can cut the pack, double undercut it, so it's face up on top. And then just say, cool trick, huh? Yeah. You know what's another cool little trick? Getting this Jack of Spades, putting it in the center, and then having it rise to the top. That'd be even more amazing, huh? And they go, what? And it's a little quickie you cleaned up. You can show the pack empty. They want shuffled again, and it brings them even more entertained. It's a mix of things. And that's a little bit of fun with some light estimation. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this week's jam session, or today's. I do multiple. And I just wish you a good one. Talk to you then.